And said, I gotta sit ringside to see this guy.
Then the sister behind. Sister and bro.
Right hand.
Both of them.
I saw it.
Good job, Coach.
Get
Good
that
job.
form from the doctor so we get an x-ray.
Hey, go get my shit.
We'll get you right back to sport.
Shakur Stevenson, honestly, he's one of the, like, I don't watch boxing too much, you know, but I actually watch him, bro. He's such a fucking great technician in the ring. You know, he's a great southpaw. His range, the way he holds distance, it's, for someone like me.
30 to claim everything.
Yeah.
You guys are going too ahead. Let him do his thing. Let him, he knows what he's doing. He's got a great support team, man. You got Jay Fritz. I mean, Shakur's in great hands.
Was this like the star-making performance that you wanted to see from him?
I've got to have it. Yeah, good job. Hey,
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully I get a phone call in the next day or two.
Yeah.
For some reason, I did see yesterday that Oscar De La Hoya don't want Schofield to fight.
Get him up out of there with a 6 round. That's not.
I don't even know if you would let somebody come in the ring look at you like that and not go back to him. The way I seen that little kid walk out that ring when he was looking at him like, I dare you to walk over here. Even if I'm scared, I'm walking over there just to show you. Yeah, I didn't like.
And to me, that ref just missed everything. It was just this horrible display of fouls that you're just like, what is going on here? But again, nothing against Shakur.
Keep that going, man. Hey, real talk, you having a good time though? Alright, lock.
Just as a fan, what would be Shakur's value as a free agent? Like,
do what they give me, $2 million. That's where his value is at. My value should be on the opposite end, but hey,
William Zepeda has been declared beaten by Shakur Stevenson. Many of the things that were being talked about before the fight are now being looked at in a different way. People have been talking about the game for months. It wasn't just on Stevenson to win either, it was on him to prove something. People from all sides said bad things about his fighting style, his desire to fight, and his ability to handle a heavy puncher like Zepeda. It wasn't just another title defense. As someone who has already been compared to Floyd Mayweather and Pernell Whitaker, it was a test of his ability to live up to the hype. Oscar De La Hoya, who was in charge of promoting Zepeda, said before the fight that he thought Zepeda could pull off the upset. He compared it to Mayweather's early fight with Joe's Luis Castillo and said that pressure and output can break down even the best experts. Oscar didn't just try to sell the fight, he genuinely thought Zepeda's relentless pace would force Stevenson out of his comfort zone and disrupt his rhythm. That prediction didn't come true. And it's worth noticing because De La Hoya wasn't the only one who thought Zepeda had the style to cause real problems. Shakur's own trainer, Greg Hackett, wasn't dismissive of Zepeda either. He had gone on record before the fight saying Zepeda was durable, active, and a real test, acknowledging the challenge without downplaying Stevenson's own skill set. That kind of controlled tone said a lot. It wasn't a fight Team Stevenson was taking easily. Tim Bradley was one of the louder voices backing Stevenson going in, calling the matchup a potential massacre if Stevenson pressed the action and used his timing effectively. Bradley's point wasn't that Zepeda was a bad fighter, but that Stevenson had levels Zepeda hadn't seen yet, That idea played heavily into pre-fight discussions around whether Stevenson would be ready to walk forward more, throw combinations, and fight in a way that silenced claims that he was too defensive or too cautious. Teofimo Lopez added another layer to the talk when he said, this fight could become 50-50 if Stevenson didn't let his hands go. That was a real worrying, especially with the way Zepeda overwhelms opponents over the course of a fight. Stevenson had been criticized in the past for being overly economical, and Teofimo's comments reflected a common attitude among fight fans and other fighters. Talent alone wasn't enough anymore. Shakur had to entertain too. Eddie Hearn wasn't making predictions on the winner, but he emphasized that Stevenson needed this fight to show something about his star power. Hearn said Shakur should be a superstar and that this was the kind of fight where he could show the world why. It was a sentiment echoed by others like Lou DiBella, who noted before the fight that this was the perfect chance for Stevenson to dominate and deliver a defining moment. There was no question that everyone saw this bout as pivotal, not just for Stevenson's professional trajectory, but for the perception around him. Chris Algieri and Paulie McNaghy both talked heavily about how Stevenson had the skill to take the fight away from Zepeda by controlling distance and tempo. They focused on how pressure fighters lose their efficiency when they can't find the target and are forced to reset. That's where they thought Stevenson would have the edge. And even though the talk wasn't about picking winners, their breakdowns made it clear who they saw as the more complete fighter. Online, a lot of fight fans had started to describe the bout as a credibility check, not whether Stevenson was good. His skills were never in question, but whether he would show more variety, more aggression, and more desire to stay in range and mix it up was. Articles on sites like Boxing Scene pointed out how Stevenson's reputation was on the line as much as his crown. They talked about how pressure was coming not just from Zepeda but from figures like Turki Alshik, who had made it known he expected a different kind of achievement. Fans were tired of seeing Shakur rule without much drama. And there was a clear push, subtle but constant, for him to shift gears. This win doesn't erase every criticism, but it does change the tone. There's a sense that Shakur Stevenson didn't just win a fight. He cleared a narrative that's been connected to him for a long time. Zepeda wasn't some fringe candidate. He was undefeated, physically strong, and one of the most active punchers in the class. The fact that so many people, trainers, analysts, and promoters thought this could be the fight to expose Stevenson, or at least give him big trouble, shows how seriously the threat was taken. Now, after the result, you can already feel the reevaluation starting. Tim Bradley's forecast feels validated. Teofimo Lopez's advice about being too cautious now sounds more like a hypothetical. Oscar de la Hoya's upset call, well, bold, didn't play out. Even critics are saying that Stevenson stepped up when he needed to. The pressure was real, and he didn't fold. He didn't hide behind a safe game plan or cruise to a meaningless win. Whatever the details of the fight were, the narrative that existed before is what's being settled now, and it's going in Stevenson's favor. This wasn't just about belts or ranks, it was about image, and with this win, Stevenson might have done more to change how people talk about him than in any fight prior. The matchup with Zepeda gave everyone a reason to doubt, to wonder if he could change to a style he hadn't really faced. And the result shows that the gap between Stevenson and most of the division is still very real. What did you think of the fight? Share your thoughts below.